1/400th of a second. 1/400th of a second is generally the time necessary to take a picture. Every portrait, landscape, or picture you see is the result of light going through a lens and hitting a sensor for this ridiculously short amount of time. Consider the photos you see online. Those breathtaking landscapes, extraordinary experiences, and unforgettable moments. They offer a mere approximation of how reality was for that one instant when the shutter was pressed. If you look at a landscape, apart from the sun and clouds moving through the sky, it appears unchanging, although the perspective goes through the lens of the creativity of the person that takes a picture, or lack thereof. But a moment, a social gathering, or experience, those constantly change and organically evolve, to the point where they won't ever be the same again. That 400th of a second is only an approximation of one setting it was in for a time period shorter than the blink of an eye. You should grasp the gist by now. Reality can only be recorded or related in a way remotely close to its true form. Portable technology has made the task of capturing and relating one or a handful of those instances frictionless. Not only is the world more connected, but it is also now more than ever represented by everyone. I mean, how tempting is it to take a picture when we know the movements and simple steps by heart? A representation or mere approximation of something you have lived, something you have already experienced, makes little sense. Why this moment and not another one? Why this perspective and not another one? In this sense, snapping a picture is just an anecdote, something that is done without much purpose, or maybe just the hope to one day come back to it and trigger again all of the sensations that one was perceiving when the picture was taken. But no, there is something else, something much bigger than just our own future souvenir. Snapping a picture is only the precursor of something that seems much more meaningful. But what is that? You know exactly what I'm talking about, what process I'm talking about, and you could walk me through it in your deepest sleep, as what I'm referring to became such a pillar of your life. Sharing. Or is it really sharing? Because sharing is the act of possessing something collectively. What would you possess here that would be collective? Apart from a distorted and compressed version of one perspective of reality, I don't see what. Perhaps it is not sharing, but rather lending, a minuscule parcel of truth offered to those who implicitly agreed to a reciprocal contract. They listen to your story, your perspective, and you listen to theirs. You lend them a taste of what a moment might have felt, smelled, and tasted like. The price they pay for this seems small and insignificant. Only the desire to have another bite of that reality. The desire to be someone else, somewhere else. But don't worry, in this market, everyone gets something back. Only that thing is the company idea of being part of something big and conforming to it, and the much more sadistic notion that they are instilling that very same desire in countless others. Traveling became the hotspot of this well-articulated attention loop. As primitive beings, our ancestors have evolved to seek novelty. Novelty represented new possibilities, yes, but most importantly, novelty represented a better chance of getting healthy offspring. Interestingly enough, this aspect of our sexual drive affects our whole system and determines our reactions to things that are new, different, or that appears like so. But novelty isn't common in a sedentary life, or it didn't used to be. We know our homes, we know our landscapes, streets, people, and colors. At least we seem to know. When we go through the process of commuting and more generally evolving in our home environment, let that be a city or a state, we notice what we know and nothing else. Out of the infinite amount of information that constantly hits our senses, our brain is restrained to filter. Filter what? Everything but what is comfortable to hear, see, and know about. The rest is noise. The rest is disregarded as non-valuable of our precious attention. And our brain is excellent at this. It filters out most of what we perceive. Home is habits. Home is what we think it is. Home doesn't strike as important. Home is old. With the mass and global representation of our world, there is an alternative to those plain and tasteless landscapes. An alternative for our old habits. Novelty is now a good you can find from anywhere at any time. Let this be through photos, videos, lended to you by others. And what about you in all of this? Well, you notice all of the exoticism, all of the extraordinary. There is an endless source of it at the tip of your finger. So, for a handful of days every year, your obsession for exoticism, for novelty, for traveling gets materialized into a plane ticket and a hotel stay. How rewarding is it to press book, to take the leap, to make it happen, to cross the lens into the world that was represented to you so many times. To the point where it feels natural for you to go there, almost as if you already knew the place from all the posts and photos you consumed. After the long wait and the bargain that it is to pack for an adventure, your plane takes off to a world you already know. At landing, your excitement reaches its peak and questions suddenly arise. How can I make the most of that trip? Where is the most beautiful spot? What can I best capture? What would give me the best stories to tell? In short, how can I get my revenge over those who made me want to go here in the first place and made me feel so miserable? Because the real fun isn't while you are traveling and experiencing the food, landscapes, or culture. The real fun is to tell and relate the stories you encounter, to show the 400 of seconds you take, to elevate yourself socially. And that's when you lose at the game of traveling. Because it takes so much effort. There is an infinite amount of things to do and places to go to and ways to interact with that new world that one thought they knew. And all of this takes decision power. It takes ingenuity, courage. It takes skills. And this is not very restful or easy. Traveling, as it is sold, is about doing nothing and passively getting pleasure. But you soon realize something big. You cannot enjoy doing nothing because you are not used to it. You don't know how to do nothing and observe. You have never done that. You don't know where to go, what to choose. It's overwhelming. Luckily, there are countless visitors in your position, and this market is broad and profitable. So, of course, there are easy solutions. For a certain amount of money, you can delegate the bargain of looking for interesting things, trying to live the place, and the ready formula will maximize your chances of capturing moments that are appealing. This way, without much effort, you will encounter countless 400th of a second that you will lend to others. It is optimized for you to create that alternate reality that you can control, that you dictate, and that will make you look more desirable as a person. You will now stop borrowing realities, and you will finally lend yours. But what about the rest of your reality, the one you can't escape? Because your eyes, they work in a different way from a camera. They receive a constant beam of light that is processed by your brain. There is no compression, no frame, no editing, no defining the reality you are anchored in. And this is the case for every single one of your senses. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the spots you place your eyes on, all of this doesn't have an off button. Whether you are ready to handle it or not. Oh, this is scary. I don't know the place. I don't know the language. I have all of this time to spend here, all of the upfront investment. How can I make the most of this? Was it a good idea? I have so much time here, but I have so little at the same time. What do I do? Where do I go? Why am I struggling? It's a disillusion. There is no predicting. There is no guarantee. There is no certainty. when dealing with the raw reality we are all well anchored in. Every experience is unique despite doing the same exact thing. There is no smelling or hearing or feeling your destination before ending up there. Without even realizing, you took a bet with reality by pressing book. You might have lost that bet, or not. It entirely depends on what you betted on. But chances are, you betted on a calm and easy and restful stay. And you lost because reality decided otherwise. Now, if you're resilient, you might take your losses and accept that traveling and discovering new places, like all things, is a skill you need to acquire with experience. Let it be good or bad. If you're resilient, you might realize that in every place in the world, people have routines, and they are being human the same way. In every place, people start being bored of what they call home, and they start seeking novelty to find reassurance. No place is magic. No place will permanently nor instantly make you feel good, full, and accomplished. Because that is your part of the job. The wonders of your destinations, they won't jump at you. They will be hidden in the forest, in the sea, in the culture, in the small streets of your destination. You will need to spend hours walking in the streets, being observant, adventure where few you go, without hurrying. And by doing this, you will realize that the only magic formula, if there's one, is to take your time and remain open to the good and bad experiences. But if you are in that landing and boring pieces of reality loop, it's unlikely that you will have this realization. It's unlikely it will even come to you, as you will try to stay in the illusion, being comforted by the many you lend reality to. And this external and short validation from them will just reinforce that behavior and force you to cram in as many of those experiences in your stay as possible. Not to optimize your experience, but to optimize how your experience will be perceived and related. But it's okay, it's just impacting me, right? Well, that's one way of looking at it, but certainly not the only one, and not one that takes all of the variables into account. You see, you sign contracts with other people. Those connections, as they might be labeled, involve other people just like you. You are participating in that global Truman Show. And you and those with whom you connect don't strictly benefit from it. The loss far outweighs the benefits. Those who benefit from this giant illusion are those who sell you those tickets for easy 400th of a second. Those who allow you to post and see or lend and borrow those parcels of reality to monetize them. Those who are aware of the illusion found a way to make consistently a lot of money. But the contractors, as I call them, are not the only ones being deceived and suffering from all of this. This economy of representations is exploiting the natural beauty and authenticity of places, landscapes where people lived and thrived. It is now depriving them of an affordable life where their ancestors settled, in a place they genuinely love and contributed to. Mass representation and lending of reality has no limit, and will expel inhabitants from their homeland, suck the life out of city centers, cultural areas, and natural wonders so that borrowing contractors can come spend a handful of days. A handful of days where they will stay in rentals that belong to locals, where they will walk and pollute streets that used to belong to locals, and witness the mere cliche of the culture of those locals without ever meeting them and being grateful for all of that. All of this for what? So that they can capture 400th of a second to create a polished and fake reality that they will lend to borrowers. 1/400th of a second is all you see. Question the realities that are presented to you and see the world with your own eyes. Be curious, not judgmental. Don't go where you're not invited. Make sure you leave your destination cleaner, more educated, and happier than when you found it. That is how I view tourism, and I hope that I was able to convince you, or at least make you think a little bit before lending or borrowing another fake bite of reality. Thank you for listening. This was Luca Leandri. À bientôt. Hey, I'm currently at the airport right now. It's pretty windy. I'm actually waiting for a delayed flight. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you liked it. You might have noticed that the production quality is not the same as usual, and this was because it was entirely produced on my phone. So I recorded the videos, I also recorded the voiceover on my phone and edited everything in a free software. I used iMovie, and my phone would be the iPhone 12 mini, so not that expensive of a phone. I just wanted to show that you could be creative without much gear. Even though I have a camera, I have a computer, I was able to create something. It's not as good as if I had recorded or edited with professional gear, but it's good enough to share a message. I hope that you liked it. The point of view I share in this video can be kind of extreme, I'm aware of this, but I'd love to have your take on it, and I might do other videos on that topic, on the topic of tourism, and it can also blend in with languages, which is my topic of choice usually on my YouTube channel. But this time I had this essay on my computer, I wanted to make something out of it, and it became this. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. À bientôt.